Did you? What do you think happened with the Balenciaga thing? Because
I actually don't know that story. I've heard about the people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, what happened? Something about Kim K is mad.
Yeah, they had an ad campaign that it's like essentially like kids in bondage gear.
No, it wasn't kids in bondage gear.
Kids with ball gags in their mouth, naked. No, it was kind of wild.
They were selling these stuffed plush bears that the stuffed plush bears were in bondage gear. But they're like these little bears, but I guess you wouldn't say they're for kids because they're probably $5,000 or something a piece, knowing Balenciaga. And then there was like a kid holding them, like a little kid. And then the set decoration was this, it was this court case or whatever. It was called like United States versus Williams, I think. And it was upholding the child pornography laws. This thing, and it was like obviously placed there on purpose. Like this was not an accident. Like
those are kids holding these, right?
Yeah. So
am I crazy?
Yeah, that's kids holding these plush bears. But so there's a document. If you see, there's like a Manila or like a file folder thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's a document peeking out of it, and that document is like the Supreme Court upholding child pornography laws. Like a little Easter egg that they put in there.
And then Balenciaga's suing the photographer.
Yeah, they're saying like
they're passing the buck on this.
Everybody's passing the buck right now. And Balenciaga they privated all their social media.
But it's like hard to believe that it's a conspiracy. So that's why it seems like it's. I was like in the idea that at the Balenciaga headquarters, it's kind of like everyone's in the meeting and it's like everyone. Okay, I was thinking, maybe we do a shoot with like older people, and there's like maybe like an athletic thing, and the one guy with like the mustache being like kids. There's just like there's just one creep in the Balenciaga, but he, his dad kind of works there, so they can't fire him.
Can't fire him.
He's like, can we do kids this time?
Can we do kids? I mean, yeah, I don't know. They're risque. I'm sure that's how they brand themselves, but
you see it as like it was an edgelord thing.
No. I see it as there's just some people are so detached. Like if you're someone who I think is like a designer for Balenciaga, like you're probably pretty detached from the regular world. Like you're dressing in latex as like a normal thing.
I will say I dated a girl who was, like a fashion designer, and that was her whole world. And that was correct. She didn't know, like I bet you she would know who the prime minister was, but she wouldn't know who the person who ran against them, for example.
Okay.
I don't know if you.
Yeah.
But like, so they are detached from that extent.
And they probably are like, yeah, it's like an edgy thing, but they're probably like, what's the problem? Like no children were getting harmed. And they probably
That's
don't
what you
know,
think it is.
They're like, nobody's actually getting harmed. And they probably don't know this whole like underlying debate about all of like the grooming stuff, because they're probably like not on Twitter and they just like don't know.
It's just weird seeing, like, I don't even know about the rest of the stuff, but just seeing a kid with like a bear and fishnets and like weird makeup, like that's already like too far for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
what?
But
I would have a bear for my kid with a thong on. You know what I mean? Like that's just weird. Like,
well, and that's the thing. I don't even get who that's like. I don't even know if those are for kids. Like those might be like teddy bears for adults.
Sure. There's also, it's like kind of like the Ali G, where the funnier part is the parents that bring their kids for that acting job. You know what I mean?
Right.
Did you remember I think it was Bruno?
Bruno, yeah.
Where they have the kid and they're like, your baby's going to have to lose 10 pounds and all this stuff.
And they're like, yeah, we could do that.
I think in these worlds, like things that are for kids, like things that are for adults are not now for, like they got makeup for kids. They're like
really
slowly, but yeah. And so the stuff that are normally for, it's like you're seeing these pageant shows and what these girls are wearing. Like when they're wearing those stuff, they're wearing what adults wear.
Yeah,
that's why it's disgusting to
child
look
pageant stuff's nuts.
Yeah. So that's the kind of world that you're looking at. So for them, they probably looked at that stuff, and with big companies like that, they don't go through not everyone sees everything. They got one department that does this. You do this shoot, whatever. It passes through one checks and balance, and then it goes out to the public.
For sure.
And so somebody fucked up royally there, but it's not surprising.
That's what they're.
And that was the right person that no one could question. So
well, Balenciaga saying they hired this firm or whatever, like this company, to do this shoot, and so they're suing them for $25 million because they're like, we just hired them to do this campaign, which is probably pretty normal. They probably outsource all these campaigns to all these different companies, and then they just were like, here's the weird sex trafficking one we made. Sorry. Thought this would hit.
Child porn. Yeah. That's weird.
Yeah, but the guy who's like or girl who's printing out, they're like looking up this case, like the United States versus about child pornography laws, and they're like, they printed multiple copies of this, to like set design and like.
No, that shit's wild.
I couldn't even look at it. I pulled up the picture, and like, when you look at a picture and it's so like you have to like lean back just to make sure you're not too close. Like that's how weird it was. like that's like, ugh, get that off my phone. That was weird.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, the fashion world's always been full of freaky ass shit, though.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. They're trying to freak. They're probably like, yeah, we're trying to freak everybody out. You know?
yeah, it's got to be daring.
It has to be.
I mean, on adults is one thing. Like when you see somebody on a fashion shoot and like they're wearing a trash bag, you're like, okay, whatever. They're being artsy fartsy.
Yeah.
But when you see kids doing it, that's when it gets weird.
I always say like art.
And the parents are there. Like the parents are behind that camera.
Yeah.
Like 10 feet away watching them.
That's what's weird. Because like, how much can the kid really consent to this kind
They
of stuff?
can't. They cannot at all legally.
No, the kid didn't say to the mom like, "Hey, there's this audition I'd really like to go out for."
Or like the kid was like, hey, I have an idea for the set. And they have like, I brought some child pornography documents.
Yeah.